So, did America win or lose the Vietnam War?
Let's share our dumb opinions.
Oh shit, was that the cue? Fuck.
It varies. It depends.
On?
It depends. It depends on your viewpoint on it.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
No, like legit. In the beginning, in the beginning of the war, after the first few years, like around at like 1973, America had a peace treaty with Vietnam.
Yeah.
Some people could just view it as America won right there.
Well, I mean, I say America didn't win or lose the Vietnam War. I say it was a draw. Because did one side surrender? No. Did one side get what they wanted? Both sides, in my opinion. I think both sides won.
America was trying to stop the communists.
Yeah.
How many communist countries are alive right now? How many countries are communist?
None.
Exactly.
But at the time,
China's not communist.
America's goal
Cuba
was
doesn't
to stop.
technically,
No,
Cuba
North
isn't
Vietnam.
completely.
Yeah, I don't recognize Cuba.
It's not pure communism. But then again, we're not pure democracy.
It's the closest thing to a communist country right now.
Right now, we're
Which
not.
is I mean, it's further evidence is my side is right because Vietnam, like,
Vietnam
communism
got
didn't
their
spread.
war goal. We did not get our war goal.
what was their war goal? Telling us to fuck off.
Unify Vietnam.
To
Yeah,
unify.
But just because you get your war goal doesn't necessarily mean the other side lost. Like, you just don't.
But you got success.
I mean,
if one side gets their war goal and one side doesn't get their war goal, then
America's.
you think that's a win.
What do you consider America's war goal?
To stop the
Spread of
unification
communism?
of
The-
No, the
America's
spread
war-
of communism.
of that war. The war goal was to stop the unification of Vietnam.
Under the North, under the.
No, it
North
was to
Vietnamese.
defend.
Yeah.
I believe South Vietnam were the good guys, right? Yeah. So, it was to defend. Oh, no one's a good
Good
guy.
USA. Was.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, America's number one, so any other country I don't care about, unless you're our ally. Again, so they're really good guys in my eye.
Yeah,
So
okay,
South
they're good
Korea, the point of America joining was two things.
South
The main, of course, the main one was South Vietnam. I apologize, I said South Korea. The main was to protect South Vietnam. While we were at the war, that was we held our ground on South Vietnam. And the secondary one was to prevent the spread of communism.
Yes.
Communism is no longer existent. It's more of an ideology, not really used in practice,
But it
or a
wasn't-
pure form.
It wasn't won in that war. We didn't stop
Yeah,
it in that war.
No, once we left, South Vietnam did fall. You're 100% correct in saying that. I'm not saying it didn't fall. I'm saying during the war, America held their ground. Once we left, yes, they fell. But that's not our problem because we fucked up.
Yeah, but then you lost your overall goal. Your overall goal was to stop the spread of communism.
We did.
You stopped it, but once you left, then it spread it still.
But
It's like you tried it, you were succeeding, and then you just gave up. You just dropped it.
well, again, we didn't surrender. We didn't again.
I know you just gave
We
up.
lowered our funding, and that's what lost.
Ameri-
That's why we
America
lost.
We didn't
legit-
lose.
America legit had the power, the resources, everything. We just walked away.
Exactly. That's why it's like
It's still
No,
giving
no
up.
one wanted to bother with it anymore at home. We were all just sick of it.
because we only lost 55K, I think, and like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's
they
not
lost.
much.
How much did they lose? Like millions?
Yeah, I'm on millions.
Yeah.
Like the owner. Like,
No,
what's the-
casualty
But we
wise,
lost so much in money because we were funding South Vietnam the entire time. Even after we
But, like,
left,
again,
we were funding.
the cost of war
To a
does
point,
not.
we stopped.
Yeah, of course.
We
but
we broke our promise with them, and
we
just,
didn't break our promise. We
Yeah,
just said
we
we're fucking off.
we legit broke our promise.
What was the promise?
when we pulled
That we
out
would be funding
when we
military.
pulled out after the first treaty, we agreed that we would still send South Vietnam all aid, military equipment,
and we
advisors,
pussied out.
and as soon as because
Yeah.
Nixon was in office, and then
It's actually pretty good.
and
Thank you, I appreciate that.
As soon as President Ford came into power, which was the Democratic Party at
Hong
that
Kong.
time, the Democrats took over Congress, and then as soon as that happened, since they were anti-Vietnam, the North Vietnamese started slowly moving into South Vietnam, one village at a
Yeah,
time.
basically
I'm-
testing out the new.
I'm not
president.
I'm not saying
We were
that.
still funding at that time, but it was actually instantly lowered, and then eventually just became we stopped.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
we.
that's all. After we broke our promise.
I
Yeah.
see
America
your
themselves.
arguments, but I'm not saying we won or lost because of that. I'm saying during the war, we did not admit defeat, nor did we claim victory. We simply stopped fighting.
Exactly.
But they got
just,
their war goal.
no. Just because you get your war goal doesn't mean the other side lost. It's not like, oh, first one to war goal wins.
Okay, we didn't lose, but they won.
No,
That's what you're saying right now.
I'm okay with that. Because you don't have to. You don't.
They won, but we didn't
But-
lose, is what he's saying.
No,
Yes, we
if
didn't
they
lose.
won, we lost.
No.
Exactly.
We weren't fighting
No,
for
no.
our homeland. No, we were just our goal was to defend the country from the spread of communism.
The only
Did we-
reason
that country
Okay,
got
what do you
corrupted
consider-
with communism, so
Yeah,
we
we
lost.
lost, yeah.
What do you
That's lost
what do
of
you
war.
consider? Okay, when a war
Communism spread.
When
Yeah.
is when war is
lost.
being fought, how do you can both sides win? Can both sides lose? Or one is the winner, one's the loser?
Depends on the goals of both sides.
Because my version of this is one side must must admit defeat. Like Japan and America, it was clear cut. One side won, one side lost. Japan unconditionally surrendered. That's clearly defeat. But in the Vietnam situation, it's actually a special situation because neither side surrendered. One side simply left.
Exactly.
But that's not.
Like, they walked away.
Real life is not like a video game where if you leave the game, you lose the game.
So
No.
if we had a
No.
gladiator fight and
It's
I
not.
killed
It's a
you,
different situation.
I actually- I
it's
know.
a completely
I
different
know this
situation.
is
The
a
situation
situation.
you're giving me is inherently wrong. I already know what you're gonna do. You're gonna be
Right now, there's kind of a situation like are you familiar with the Kuril Islands with
Sure.
Japan?
Oh yeah, with Russia.
Okay,
Yeah.
Russia and Japan have not signed a peace treaty for World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Japan says we're not going to sign that because those are our islands, which is it's right north of mainland Japan.
May I ask something?
Yeah.
Is it historically theirs or just recently theirs? Recently.
This
within
is
the-
right. You know when the Soviets invaded Japan
Yeah.
to help out America,
course,
right
of
at the
course.
end.
Okay, so that
They
land.
took those islands, those specific islands, right above the Japanese
So it's
mainland.
historically it's part of the Japanese archipelago.
Around 50. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that
before
makes sense.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
makes sense.
So then the Soviets took those, and then as soon as America signed the peace treaty with the Japanese, the Soviets were like, okay, whatever we took, that's ours now.
Which is semi-fair. I mean,
But the Japanese and the Russians still have not signed a peace treaty because the Japanese won't sign it because they still think that you need to give those islands back and then we'll sign it.
yeah. So
So Japan's not admitted defeat,
to Russia, but they have admitted defeat to America. And don't
but
forget.
Russia completely kicks them out of Asia in like a week.
Oh yeah, but don't forget, Japan isn't really Japan. It's more like remember Vichy France? Like it's not really Japan anymore.
Well, then you could say at the time that Vietnam wasn't really Vietnam because it was nothing but Chinese and Soviet supplies.
I know it was a proxy war, but I'm not really getting the specifics of that. I'm just saying like. I don't think America lost the Vietnam War. We just simply stopped fighting because it's not really worth
The
it. for us
only
to
war,
continue.
the only war goal was to stop North Vietnam unifying it under communist regime.
Yeah.
No.
Which
Once we left, during the war, it did not happen.
But
am I
we still
correct?
had the agreement to.
Back them up. But again, like that. Once we left, we're no longer at war with them. We just support one side. Like World War I at first, we gave British people ships, but we weren't part of the war. We just supplying them. Does that mean if Britain lost, we lost?
Like even you
No.
said, like you said, if one side doesn't admit defeat or anything. Right?
War isn't clear cut where there must be one unconditional winner and one unconditional loser.
No,
it's not always clear cut.
That makes sense for the Vietnam War.
Here, may I bring something up? This is actually like remember earlier in the day we were talking about Greece and
Yeah.
Persia, how the ancient Greek civilizations like the Spartans, Athens, Macedonians, Greek, they were all fighting with each other constantly, but skirmishes where one country or one kingdom can lose a skirmish and then win another one, but it's not necessarily the ultimate war. That's it doesn't really matter what that individual skirmish means until like the end war where no one is really a clear victor. In Vietnam, I believe it's the same situation where
It's a
Vietnam,
little different.
it can easily be seen as them winning. Let's mute your thing. It can easily be seen. I understand 100% on how Vietnam people think they won the war. But just because one person won something in war specifically does not mean the other side lost. Because
No, what you say makes sense.
It's not a-
because
it's not a
you're talking
pure
about
one.
like skirmishes and war fights. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But in the Vietnam War, a country was taken over. A country disappeared.
after one country left.
South Vietnam
Yeah.
disappeared off the map. North Korea took it.
But that's after America
America,
left.
yeah.
Once America left.
Exactly, yeah.
But during...
But it happened because America left. So America lost. There you go. Because they left. They lost because they left.
I don't
If
think
they
we lost
didn't
as much.
leave, they wouldn't have lost.
Did we give them anything? Did we give North Vietnam like...
America completely ignored it.
Okay, exactly. That's why we didn't lose. The reason we did not lose is because we did not admit defeat. We did not lose any land. The only thing we lost is soldiers and money, which again is disposable. I mean, I'm not saying a human life isn't worth anything. I'm just saying in this specific
We
situation,
also
the soldiers
lost
disposable.
South Vietnam, what we were defending.
No, we were supplying them. Once we left, we
Towards
were no
the
longer,
end, we're supplying them, yes.
Yeah. We had soldiers
But
there
we
to back them up.
stopped.
Yeah.
And since we stopped, we lost
We
South Vietnam. That's the only thing.
Yes, I'm not
that's
saying
the
we didn't
only
lose South
reason.
Vietnam.
That's the only reason America was there for, and we lost it. America lost.
Once America got out, we did lose South Vietnam. But once we were out, we no longer were at war. We're
Yeah,
just supplying
exactly.
South Vietnam.
Okay, we lost the war.
This
then.
is what I was talking to you last night about was this is more of a political and ideological loss than a military loss. So
I only recognize military losses.
Okay, so you only recognize military like the military.
Yeah.
So obviously militarily, we wiped them off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
We instantly razed all of their cities, bombed the crap out of every single one of their ports.
I'm not proud of the Vietnam War. I just want to say that. I think what happened was.
Like, it was a horrible war, yeah.
Yeah, like Agent Orange still affects children to this day. I'm not saying that we're 100. Like, I'm not saying we're
No,
the good
morally,
guys.
we were horrible.
America's. Every country that isn't America, I don't care about.
Okay, so Angel.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, because we were talking. It was last night, right? Where I was talking about we lost politically.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you get that, lads? Yep. Like militarily, we killed them like
Hella.
100 to 1.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but every other single point, we lost that.
We killed more.
But
Hella.
but you're thinking militarily.
Yeah, I only see it
In
militarily.
every other point, though, we were like, oh shit. No, we
But
lost.
like, what really matters at the end of the day? A military win or a political win?
Well, considering that a
If I have a gun in your mouth and let's say I'm a hardcore socialist, you're a hardcore Republican, I have a gun in your face. If you disagree with me, I kill you.
That's unreasonable.
He can be morally right. And this
Yeah.
is a very one-sided example.
Yes,
but I'm
it
just
is.
saying, military at the end of the day only matters, unless like you politically annex someone, which is possible. But in Vietnam situation, I do not think that's possible. Simply because North and South are just so different. But yeah, like I don't think America lost Vietnam War. I just say we didn't win. Arguably, you can easily say Vietnam won the Vietnam War. But
Yeah,
like, I can't really say that America lost it per se. You know
Looking
what I'm
at
saying?
all the points and the reasons both sides were fighting, America lost.
politically.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm willing
Yes.
willing
Yes.
to meet you halfway. I'm willing to say that, but
Yeah.
militarily,
America
America.
raped everything from North Vietnam.
Yeah.
They butt raped them.
Yeah,
That's butt
like
raped.
what was the guy's name? The Vietnam leader. It doesn't matter. He's dead.
Ho Chi Minh.
I don't care. That sounds delicious, by the way.
Yeah, what you mean?
Wow, he sounds delicious. Wow, I'm hungry now. But like again, like didn't he have a speech where he was willing to sacrifice like I think 5 Vietnamese soldiers to kill 1 American soldier?
I
or
wouldn't
something?
doubt it.
Like
Yeah, but
again, they were willing to. So the
they're-
only reason
they're like-
we backed out is because America didn't. We had war exhaustion.
They had a lot. It was a lot more morale on their part. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was their home turf. They were like, we have to take it because from the North Vietnamese point of view, by the time America got involved, they've been fighting the war for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Because because it goes back to the 40s where Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia were all part of the French Indochina,
Okay.
which was a colony. So France owned it. And the Vietnamese were fighting the French in like a civil war kind of thing. And then when France fell and Germany took that over, the Japanese and the Germans made a pact where Japan would sweep in and take that part, the French Indochina, because that was Japan's area.
Yeah, of course.
And then the Vietnamese then they started fighting the Japanese. They're like, okay, whatever, we'll fight the Japanese now. And then America killed the Japanese. And then the Japanese left Indochina, and America decided they were like, oh, France should get the colony back. And North Vietnam was like, no, we're not gonna have France come back. So then they revolted again. And almost all throughout the 50s and a good part of the 60s, it was just mostly France and the Vietnamese going at it again. And then a lot later on into the late 60s was when America started getting more involved. But the North Vietnamese were like, this is our home. Like they've been revolting against the French, the Japanese, and the Americans now.
yeah.
So their morale was crazy.
I think that's very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, they're hella hard. Like they fought well, but at the end of the day, they still lost a lot. It was a Pyrrhic victory where militarily, yeah, they held their ground, but they still lost so much that if we really wanted to, and we just ignored our war exhaustion, we would have destroyed them. The only reason it could be said that Vietnam did not lose the Vietnam War is because,
The hippies.
they're still there. They're still there.
The hippies.
Damn hippies.
Those hippies.
I mean, I like how they recycle, though. Don't get me wrong. It's good for the environment.
What's your opinion, Laz? You gonna meet halfway? Or you choosing one?
Yeah,
side?
what's your opinion on this?
I already said my opinion.
What was it?
My opinion that it